96.3 WHUR and HUR Voices, Sirius XM, Channel 141. This is the Insight segment. Your questions or comments toll free at 855-288-4876. Now, Insight.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Daily Drum. I'm Molette Green, in for Harold Fisher tonight. Here's the question again. Why are so many black people dying in their sleep? Well, tonight, a life and death discussion about sleep apnea. One study finds that blacks are more prone to this potentially dangerous condition than whites. Mark Clarke, host of WHUR's Hang Suite, just found out a short time ago that he suffers from this condition that is also believed to have played a role in the death of former NFL football player Reggie White. Mark joins us tonight on the telephone along with Dr. Sharmeela Kuperan, an adult sleep specialist with Rest Assured Sleep Center. And we invite our listeners to join in this conversation this evening. Are you having trouble sleeping? Better yet, is your loved one complaining about you snoring at night and making all kinds of strange noises and asking you to get some help? Give us a call right now. The phone lines are open, 202-319-7810. That's 202-319-7810. Or you can always call us toll free at 855-288-4876. That's 855-288-4876. Mark Clarke, Dr. Kuperan, thank you so very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
All right. First up, let me have the doctor to kind of lay the groundwork for what sleep apnea is, to describe the symptoms. Tell us what this condition is all about.
So thank you for having me on the show. Sleep apnea is a condition where the person actually stops breathing during their sleep. And because they stop breathing during their sleep, they're not getting enough oxygen during their sleep. So because of that drop in oxygen level, their brain gets deprived of oxygen, their heart gets deprived of oxygen, all the critical organs in our body get deprived of oxygen. And when we get deprived of oxygen, that can lead to problems with heart disease, heart failure, stroke, diabetes. Lots of medical conditions have been linked to sleep apnea. And sleep apnea, because you're not getting enough oxygen at night, your brain then wakes up. So it's trying to wake you up. It's trying to help you and say, wake up and start breathing normally again, which you do. But of course, your sleep just got interrupted. You wanted to be having a nice, restful night of sleep, but instead your brain keeps waking you up and getting you to breathe. And so the end result is you drop your oxygen level, your brain is disrupted during the night when it should be resting, and you wake up the next day and you feel tired. You spent all night in bed, but you don't feel like you got a good night's sleep.
Mark, tell us about how you came to be diagnosed. This is a recent diagnosis for you, right?
Yes. I recently, I've been doing juicing, and I lost quite a bit of weight. So I lost about 70 pounds.
I know. You look fantastic. I wish people could see you.
Well, and so, I was feeling great, and I think the weight loss and the program really makes me want to be in ultimate health and get anything that could be a question mark worked out, And so through the weight loss, my blood pressure, I got that under control. I've been diagnosed as pre-diabetic, and so that's what kind of was the impetus to make me start the program. And so when my wife had always said that I snored loudly, and after I lost the weight, not as much. So a part of me felt like maybe, I was okay, but I went ahead and had the sleep study. And so, based on the snoring. And so I said, why not get checked out? So I had the sleep study, and then come to find out I have sleep apnea.
Yeah, and you know what? That's the problem in the African American community, Dr. Kuperan. A lot the blacks are less likely to seek treatment for the disorder, or even go and see if they need to go and get diagnosed. That is that correct?
Absolutely. There's a lot of acceptance out there that it's just normal to be tired. It's normal to feel fatigued, and that's not anything out of the ordinary. They get used to it because it's been going on for years.
Is it normal to snore?
Snoring is not normal, but it by itself doesn't mean that you have sleep apnea. So all you listeners who snore don't automatically think I have sleep apnea, I have to get tested for it. But if you have any other symptoms, such as you wake up the next morning, you don't feel like you got a good night's sleep, you feel fatigued and tired during the day, you have problems with your memory, your concentration, your bed partner sees other things besides snoring, such as you actually stopping breathing during your sleep, or you yourself wake up feeling like you're gasping for air. Mm-hmm. If you have any of those symptoms with the snoring, then absolutely you should go and talk to your doctor about being tested for sleep apnea.
And Mark, you heard the doctor talk about how the oxygen is deprived from your brain and your heart. You feel like you probably saved your life ahead of time, even though you've lost the weight and the snoring is better. Having the sleep apnea go undiagnosed, it could have been a life and death situation for you.
Oh, and definitely. And the thing is, it really made me want to be a voice or spokesperson for this, because in my case, even when I was 70 pounds heavier, I'm a high energy person.
You really are.
Mm-hmm. So I never had this. I didn't feel like I had those symptoms, but this was the one that got me. And Doc made the diagnosis for me. What got me was, she asked me, "Do you ever feel sleepy?" And I was thinking, well, not only feel sleepy, but I had to think about the many times at a stoplight I doze off.
Mm-hmm.
Or when I stop moving at home or with the kids, when I just stop moving, I could drift off and then boom, be back up again and moving. That's sleepiness. That's not like, tired or restlessness. That's you're not getting enough sleep. So that's a symptom, I think. And I worked remember all those years I drove to Baltimore every day, 45 minutes each way. And I think what I used to do was when I was sleepy, I would then stop at 7-Eleven and then grab something to eat, and I was basically medicating through food this sleepiness.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the symptom that I had to, if I was honest, even after the weight loss, I still sometimes did feel that. Like I say, not tiredness, but just sleepy, and I never really accounted. So then I said, well, maybe I'm not getting enough. That's the other part. In addition to sleep apnea, I probably was not getting enough sleep on top of it. And that's something you can control. So a lot of people don't get enough sleep anyway. And then if you have sleep apnea, you're robbing your body of this precious sleep. And then what happens is, I'm 46 now. This is probably when things start to add up, because you just probably compensate when you're young. And then you get to a point where you can't compensate. That's why you have the increased blood pressure, diabetes, and you're susceptible to a whole bunch of other illnesses. And again, you add that along with people not eating correctly.